everybody? Welcome to another episode of Scoundrels of the Forest. I wish we could have been here last week, but things happen, as you know, as they always seem to do. But here we are. We're back. We're one short. Actually, Jarvie unfortunately has a sick dog, so we send out our best wishes to Richard Eric Jarvie. I know he said he couldn't be here. He was talking about pushing it until tomorrow. Can't do that. Too much stuff going on tomorrow, so we're just going to get this done today. Which means we have to go down a scoundrel short. But you know what? That's okay. I want to say hi, Vermont Mike. Always great to see you in the chat. Star Drew, thanks for popping in, showing in. We're going to talk about Bad Batch today. We're going to talk about Visions. Actually, I think we're going to watch the trailer. I mean, we've watched it. We talked about it behind the scenes. Like, Richard Eric Jarvie still hadn't got a chance to see it because he's been really busy. So we're going to watch it with him for the first time. But just because he's not here, I think Maddie and I will watch it together anyway so we can talk about it. Why not? If we get a copyright strike, fuck it, we get a copyright strike. I don't give a fuck anymore. So without further ado, though, let's get my other scoundrel on board. Let's get this underway. Mr. Matty Gunner, my friend, how are you?
What's up, buddy? How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, doing okay.
You've been a busy boy lately.
That's true.
I've seen you in all, instead of all the corners of the galaxy, all the corners of the internet, there's been PLD popping up regularly on my feed. I'm like, okay, Paul's out here, the man of 1,000 shows.
The funniest thing is I'm actually appearing less on screen. I'm doing more behind the scenes stuff. So but I do like being on screen. I like talking to people and having good conversations. So one reason I'm definitely happy to be here. But you are right. It's kind of tough to find me at all these different places. I will cut in before I go off too far. I am going to be on Picture Perfect tomorrow, Tuesday. I recorded it this weekend, and me and Bobby Gross are talking about Free Guy. It's supposed to be. It's funny. The show is like it looks like it's an hour-long show about like the movie they're talking about, but like half an hour we're talking about like everything else but Free Guy, and then we get into it. So, but that's how we go. You know how I go off tangents and stuff.
I love that movie. I've watched it twice. I love that movie. It's just a feel-good, funny movie. Right? Ryan Reynolds is incredible as always. Obviously, there's the one scene in it towards the end that I got out of my chair in the cinema and I was like, yes! Me too. And seeing bro dude Ryan Reynolds, like Jack's Ryan Reynolds, I was like, okay.
Hilarious. And his dialogue as dude, like catchphrase, like the basic code. It was really good. I expected nothing. I expected to go and be like, it's going to be one of those movies. Ryan Reynolds going to be Ryan Reynolds, it's going to be whatever. But then the more I got drawn in, I was like, this actually got some heart to it. I actually kind of dig a lot of it, so that was funny. So
you find yourself rooting for Guy, and you're just like, you want him to get the girl, right? You want him to find his purpose, and it's just like, yes. That
is true, but we are not here to talk Free Guy. Not here to talk Free Guy. If you do want to ask any questions of Maddie and me about Star Wars, or anything else, I'll let it go. I do tangents, streamlabs.com/PLD projects. But let's get right underway on this show. We always talk about one main topic. This week is the season finale of The Bad Batch, but we're also like to start with some news, and then we'll go from there. So why don't we jump right into the news, and we'll save Visions for the last part of the news. How about that?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so go ahead, Maddie. You give us the rundown, and we'll see what we have to say about it.
Okay. In today's Star Wars world news, Kenobi and Andor have both officially wrapped production.
Right. I mean, we have two shows that we could be watching right now. Well, not really, because we have to do the special effects and everything. But the stories are there, the shows are there, the story are done. Now we're just waiting, and that almost is like exciting and frustrating at the same time. It's like there's someone out there who knows the entire story, who's seen the basic gist of it, but it's not me. So,
as long as they don't pull what they've done with the Spider-Man trailer, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, I think Feige is kicking somebody's ass right now over in Sony.
Oh, the dude lost it came out. The dude lost their job. Like, he went like.
Well, I'm sure. That. I mean, like that was like, why would you do that? You have that kind of job, and like you just decide, I'm going to leave it to the world. Are you kidding me? I didn't watch the trailer, by the way. In case you know, I decided not to. I'm like, I want to watch it full, done, ready to go when they want me to watch it. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, I don't want people. And if someone ruined Kenobi, hell hath no fury.
Ooh, no chance. So, but going back to Kenobi and Andor, my main question is, okay, which one are we getting first? We don't really know yet because they haven't really scheduled them yet completely, right?
No, they haven't. If I was the one pulling the strings, which I'm not, but if I was, I would kind of do it in chronological order. I would put Kenobi, then Andor.
I think I would do that too, and the reason why I think that Kenobi is more the surefire hit.
Yeah.
Like people, I think from everything I've read, Star Wars fans that like and everything else, everybody wants this. A lot of people like to see Andor, but they're not as invested in Andor as they are as Kenobi. And Kenobi actually, obviously, by far, is the more has the more general appeal. Bringing Ewan McGregor back, bringing Hayden Christensen back. You're getting this like more casual Star Wars fans who grew up with the prequels or whatever coming back that might not even know what Andor really is. I mean, Hayden Christensen's making appearances at Comic Con now and everything else. I think it's all starting to wrap up. You gotta it kind of feels like it's like the train is starting to take off. Jump on the train, get Obi-Wan out there. Andor can go whenever it wants to. If it delays a couple extra months, I'd rather put him on. I'd rather put Kenobi on first and then Andor. But at the same time, it might be one of those situations. I mean, hell, I kind of upset that not upset, but like watching the Marvel things, and they're going boom, 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 boom. Maybe it's just going to be Book of Boba Fett. Like a couple weeks later, Kenobi. A week or two later, Andor. We'll just get it all going at the same time.
And they seem to be setting a pattern as well, like Star Wars, Marvel, Star Wars, Marvel, Star Wars, Marvel. That seems to kind of be the pattern they're going with at the minute.
Right.
There's also part of me that's like, we know Andor is twice the length of Kenobi.
Yeah.
So I don't want to wait that long for Kenobi. I'm like,
exactly.
give that to me now.
Get the mini hit in there first, and then we'll go into the longer stream. And Andor is obviously going to be multiple seasons, according to all reports. According to Diego Luna said that. Alan Tudyk said he wasn't even appearing in the first season. He'd only be in the second season. I don't know about that necessarily. I don't know if that's a little trying to be coy about things. But either way, it indicates the second season, which is what I'm looking forward to. So get the Obi-Wan in there first, then you hit us with the Andor. That's my own hopeful opinion. But it might be just that I'm excited to see Obi-Wan. That could be all it is.
Yeah, for sure. I'm the exact same.
Okay, well, you hit me up with the next piece of news.
So, hot off the currently run of the War of the Bounty Hunters, we're going into some comic news now. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Kira appears in War of the Bounty Hunters.
Yes.
She is now being given her own comic book run off of War of the Bounty Hunters called Crimson Reign. And I am fucking excited for it. Because now we get to see what has Crimson Dawn really been up to after, post Solo.
Correct.
Between Solo and everything else. Because after that we haven't had anything Crimson Dawn.
Right. At least partially we might get that. I kind of feel like some of that might be saved for a TV series down the line, potentially. We might get into that, so I don't know if we're going to get the whole, since Solo was happening, I think we might get a little glossed over period, and we'll definitely get where they've been for a little bit, for at least during the original trilogy so far. I will say I'm excited about this. I gotta be honest, my interest in the comics has waned a little bit. I guess that always kind of happens in a way, and they start getting more and more issues out there, more and more things. You kind of get into stories like, for example, I love the War of the Bounty Hunters so far, but I definitely like the main run of War of the Bounty Hunters. Some of the side quest things that they've added as under the banner, I couldn't do without. I decided I'm not. This might be sacrilegious or something. I kind of got a little bit bored with Aphra, like the book.
Yeah.
Not the character. The character could be good. I don't know if it's just the writing or not, but I just haven't been excited reading Aphra. I'd like to see Aphra brought to live action, but this particular reign of Aphra, I'm kind of there's a Bounty Hunters book out there, which is okay, not bad. I basically almost decided to cut down to the Star Wars main run, the Darth Vader book, and War of the Bounty Hunters, and I'm definitely excited about Crimson Reign now. Definitely excited about Crimson Reign. I do think it's going to be great to see Kira what she's doing. I like the fact that it's getting her own focus on that particular part. Especially when I read that Charles Soule has said that this is the second part. That's the second part of a trilogy he had in mind of some kind of storyline. I remember reading an interview about that. War of the Bounty Hunters was the first arc, Crimson Reign was the second arc, and then there was a third arc that he had in mind for something else too. I like the idea of that because I like Soule's mind when he go to Star Wars. So that makes me excited about it. Definitely excited. Unfortunately, going back to the other side, it's the High Republic comics I'm not too excited about anymore either. I'm kind of just been like lost in them a little bit.
Yeah, they have dropped off a lot, and I also think it's because the novels have just been so good.
Yeah, I
But the
wish I could
comics
say,
are,
I wish I could tell you I finished that book, but I haven't yet because I decided I wanted to.
bro.
What I gotta do is that I know it might be sacrilegious. I decided to put it down and I'll finish my Dresden run first because I'm in the
That's okay.
last book. I'm in the 17th out of 17 books right now. So when I finish that, then I'm gonna go back and read that and just read that for like the whole thing, finish that up. So I'm excited about it. It's not that I didn't like it. I did love it. I just got
Yeah,
too
for
much
sure.
into both, and it was too much. They're both too good. I want to give my concentration to the one, but I got to read. I got to go back, read the High Republic one, and read the other one that just came out recently too. The younger, there's a younger
Out of the
reader version that
Shadows.
came out.
Yeah.
That came out. I'm going to read that one as well. So, but the comic books I'm kind of done with on the High
Yeah.
Republic so far, unless somebody comes out and tells me it's a High Republic run that's really good. I'm not probably going to be done with it. But Crimson Reign, I'm definitely going to subscribe to, and I love the Word of the Bounty Hunter. So that's where
Yeah,
I'm going with
especially
that.
because now we've seen Kira and Leia interacting.
Yes,
It's kind of
yes,
like, all right, how's this going to be going forward?
100%.
My only worry is I hope they don't be like, all right, we're just going to give them what they want for Crimson Dawn so we don't have to do anything live action. Like, no, 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 no. I still want that. Like, give me this,
Right.
but I still want that. And it's, we see in the comics, like in the War of the Bounty Hunters, the Hutts are aware of Crimson Dawn,
Yep.
but the Crimson Dawn has been so under the radar that the Hutts are like, oh, we've heard of you, but like we've never really interacted with you. So part of me is, are we going to see in the third part of this trilogy the Hutts fall and Crimson Dawn return to power?
It'll be interesting. It's hard to see him fall completely because at the end this is leading to
Oh yeah,
Jabba in Return of the Jedi, so it's hard to see that because Jabba is in power as far as we can tell in Return of the Jedi. But maybe the Hudson themselves aren't as in power, which is an interesting idea because you never thought about that too much. You always see the Hutts in power in the Clone Wars. You see the Hutts, you hear the stories about the Hutts and legends being always in power. But as far as like when Return of the Jedi happens, you only see Jabba. You don't talk about the other Hutts. So maybe there's a downfall at that point. Maybe Jabba's stuck on Tatooine at that point.
but then you get to the end of the Mandalorian and Bib Fortuna's on the throne,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
something
After
must have
Jabba,
happened.
well, obviously Jabba gets killed during Jedi. It's not a spoiler from a 1983 movie. Leia kills off Jabba. So after that, who knows what happened between them? But Bib Fortuna, yeah, Bib Fortuna in the palace. I mean, Bib Fortuna is not with the Hutts anymore at that point. It looks like, or I would think not. I wouldn't think that they would deign to have a major domo become like the new kingpin if there was nothing. But if there's no other Hutts around, maybe maybe that's part of what happened. I'll have to find out.
Yeah,
Interesting ideas, though. Interesting ideas for sure. Let's move on to the next piece of news before we get into Bad Batch.
yeah. This one is strictly a rumor. This is nothing concrete at all. So we need to speculate responsibly with this one. John Boyega is rumored to be getting his own Disney Plus series surrounding Finn.
Right. Now, this is an interesting piece of news. I do know it is speculation. I read it on Star Wars News Net. I love Star Wars News Net. They give us a lot of our stories. But they got it from they cited it as a rumor and said it came from the hashtag show, which I kind of read that as well. It was kind of interesting because I know when I talked about it backstage before we went live, you mentioned the fact that Finn or John Boyega rather had come out pretty strongly against Disney and against what they had done with the Finn character, and rightfully so. I think. I mean, he didn't really have much of a character to be honest, towards especially the second and third movies. He was basically relegated to screaming Ray and looking excited. I mean, there was not a whole lot. So, but the fact that he went so hard against it, it was like, well, why would he be doing a series now? But I will say, to be responsibly speculative, he did have a meeting with Kathleen Kennedy. That was definitely broadcast, or he made mention of it, that he had a meeting with Kathleen Kennedy to kind of like go over some of his issues, etc., to maybe salve the wounds. Since then, he's been pretty quiet about it. He said it was a good meeting with him. It would make sense, and it would be potentially possible that during that meeting, part of the smoothing over process is, you know what? Maybe we did do you a little dirty. Can we make it up to you? Let's have a Finn Disney Plus series. And maybe that would have smoothed over. Maybe he'd say, okay, you know what? If that's going to be the case, and I'm going to be the lead, and we're going to do this whole story about Finn, Yeah, we'll give it a shot. Be interesting to see. But more importantly, what I liked the idea of what I heard the rumor said would be seeing Finn in two areas. Before Force Awakens, the younger part, and then seeing him possibly post Rise of Skywalker, which you get to see two different potentially storyline aspects of it.
I didn't read that part.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see like they had like some kind of storyline where you'd introduce like a villain and like his villainous kind of character pre Force Awakens, but then he's dealing with him in Rise of Skywalker, post Rise of Skywalker timeline. Makes a lot of sense to me. It'd be kind of.
I wonder if that's Phasma.
It could be Phasma. It could be or it could be maybe the Cardinal potentially also one of the red. I mean, it depends a lot. I don't know. The Cardinal died in Phasma book. I can't remember now. Been a while since I read that book.
I can't remember either. I think I read that book one time and it was just like, okay, done with it.
I mean, I liked it. I thought it was very Mad Max, Fury Road kind of with Star Wars. I just can't remember the ending of the book, whether he died or not. Either way, but something like that would be kind of cool. The one other thing I will throw out to this, I said that, or during the rumors, the hashtag show did say something to the effect of maybe it was replacing Rangers of the New Republic, which also would make sense because that is definitely on the hiatus or probably never coming back due to the whole Cara Dune situation or whatever, as we should say. So, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think we're going to get a Boyega Finn series?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay.
No.
Would you want one?
Absolutely. Because John Boyega, if you watch him in movies like Detroit, he's a fantastic actor. So I would love to see him shine more in a property that we love, because we didn't see a lot. Well, we saw a lot of Finn, but we didn't see a lot of Finn. Like, he was just running after Rey and screaming after Rey. And, of course, I want to know what he was going to tell Rey.
Right.
So maybe we find that out.
Supposedly that was answered by I forget who's answered that. Somebody said something effect he was going to tell him he was force sensitive. That's what supposedly he was going to say. I don't know. Like, it seemed kind of weird, but that'd be the way it did it. But I forget. Like, I don't know. It seemed kind of off. That's what. Right. We're about to die, but I know the force. Like, that just seemed weird to me. But
you reckon they're going to do it like the Matrix? Like, he's just sitting on the Falcon and he just wakes up one day. I know the Matrix. And Rey just goes, show me.
Show me. Show me. And they have somebody around. Oh my God, it's Rey versus Finn. It's Rey versus Finn.
Yeah.
And real quick, I hope not.
No.
I really hope not.
No. Please, dear God, no.
He's one of my least favorite characters in all of Star Wars.
I hate Zero.
Give me Jar Jar over Zero any day.
I don't know why for some reason, Zero reminds me of Joe Pesci. Like, I feel like if there was a live action Zero, it would be Joe Pesci in the suit. I don't know why.
I think that's harsh on Joe Pesci. I wouldn't mind seeing a Joe Pesci type character. It's not like this kind of guy reminded me of like Boss Hogg in a way.
Oh God, yeah, okay, yeah, that's a better comparison. I don't know why. I hear Zero the Hutt, and some part of me just thinks if they were to do Zero in live action, get Joe Pesci to do it.
Joe Pesci might make it better, I would say. He might make it better, but otherwise, either way...
Can't make it much worse.
Exactly. No, thank you. I'd rather not see the character. But, all right, we'll go on with that. Last piece of news before we watch the Visions trailer and then get into the Bad Batch.
Yes. All hail my favorite director right now, Taika Waititi. The man is a absolute stud, complete rock star on and off the screen. He was doing an interview and they brought up his movie, his Star Wars movie or project. We don't know if it's a movie, don't know if it's a series.
Right.
Because that's what he's working on now. That's his next project now Thor Love and Thunder is done.
Right. It's supposedly a movie. That's what I heard. Supposedly a movie, but go ahead.
I'm good with either. Give me all of the Taika and Star Wars. Give it everything. He said the script is very him, which pleases me greatly.
It's funny. How do we say? Yeah, it pleases me greatly overall too. Taika Waititi I can see him being an acquired taste for some, especially in a established property. I remember watching Thor Ragnarok for the first time. I mean, I love Taika Waititi's. Well, I can't say I love it. I actually am one of the few, and I'll say it. I don't make it tarred and feathered for this. I wasn't a big fan of What We Do in the Shadows. I don't know why. I just never really dug it. Okay, good. Oh, good. For some reason, I just didn't get into it. I kind of want to watch it again now that I know Taika Waititi and like him so much. Because I wonder if I just wasn't quite ready for Taika Waititi when I saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Jojo Rabbit and everything else.
Oh my god, yeah.
When I watched Thor Ragnarok, it took me a little bit to get into it because it was so different of a take that I was kind of like, well, this isn't the same trilogy as the first two Thor movies, but it is my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe piece. It is my MCU favorite. It's my favorite MCU movie by far now, and that's a strange thing to say to some people. But it did take me a while to get there because it's such a different, unique tone with some. I don't want to say questionable humor because it's funny, but it's questionable whether the humor fits at times. But you get there. I mean, he directed the Mandalorian finale, season 1, and I totally got his humor. Like, he did the whole Stormtroopers thing at the beginning.
I could see where the cannon missing, yeah.
And I loved it. Good. But at the same time, I could also see why people wouldn't like it in a way because it's a little bit much. So I get it. This could be very polarizing, but for me personally, the fact that it's him, I'm glad they're letting him do his own thing. That's what I want to see. I want to see. Star Wars has been too precious lately, especially since Disney took over, of trying to be Star Wars instead of letting directors or letting creators do what they want to do with the property. I have a feeling that most of the directors and most of the creators who want to work with Star Wars are people who are going to respect the property just by default. Does it mean they'll make toe the line sometimes? They might toe the line sometimes and do something that might not quite work, but that's okay. I'd rather see them being passionate about it and giving me something that they love and they think this is what we got from Favreau and The Mandalorian and Filoni. This is what we're going to get. I think we got, for the most part, from Gareth Edwards, for the most part, from Rogue One. This is what we're going to get in Visions, which I'm very excited about, which we're going to see later on. But I feel like now that the trilogy's over, now the sequel trilogy's over, and there's been a little backlash, I feel like Kathleen Kennedy's starting to wise up to the fact that I think we just let creators do what they want to do. I mean, that doesn't mean like anything. I mean, it's not like I'm giving you complete free reign, but for the most part, hire somebody, let them do their job, and go with it. This is what I want to see from Taika.
100%. If there's one guy that I trust to take a property and just be like, go forth as you would, like, do whatever you want, because it seems to be like with Star Wars at the minute, there seems to be like a checklist. Like, you have to have the redemption, you have to have the cute character that sells toys, you have to have this, you have to have that. Taika to me seems like the type of person to just be like, cool, nah. Just let me work my magic. And part of me wonders, is this the same project that Feige is producing?
You know, I posited that a long time ago when they first talked about it. I mean, Kevin Feige came out, he's producing a movie, and they're bringing somebody over. I think at that point, Taika Waititi was already announced as directing, so people didn't think about it, but I do wonder if it's the same one. It wouldn't shock me, although I've gotten past the point. I don't think it is, because the way Feige was talking, it felt like it was he was trying to keep something quiet, and since Taika Waititi was already announced, why would he keep that quiet? Why would he say, "Oh yeah, I'm bringing somebody over. I work with the MCU"? Oh, Taika Waititi is already announced, so why hide it? And then it could be, honestly, I think Michael Waldron was talked about doing the Feige Star Wars movie.
Yeah, that's true.
So that might be the MCU person he was talking about. But that still means we don't have a director, so I go back and forth on it. It could. So you're right, it could be. I'd give it, though. My own gut tells me it's 70% that it's not Waititi doing with Feige. But you bring up a great point.
What do you think the over-under is that Ryan Reynolds shows up in some kind of role?
In Star Wars, in Taika Waititi's project, I don't think it'd be anything he showed his face. He may do a cameo or a voice or something like that potentially.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just like a little something here. You hear his voice and you're like, wait a second.
That sounds familiar. Something potentially. I'd rather see a little less of that. I don't want to see too many in a way. I like the way they did it in the sequel trilogy in terms of you didn't even know, like Daniel Craig, you didn't really know it was him until you knew it was him later on. Kind of
Prince
thing.
Harry was a stormtrooper.
Prince Harry was a stormtrooper. That's like Kevin Smith was a voice of a stormtrooper during Force Awakens. Actually, that's kind of thing I liked. It was like kind of you didn't really notice it too much, but it's kind of a cool tribute bit afterwards.
Tom Hardy had a really good cameo. It was in a deleted scene.
I did see that.
But it's when he's in the elevator with Finn and he recognizes him and he's like, I didn't think you'd make officer status. Like, good on you. He just pats him on the ass and he's like, go ahead.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I mean, I could tell why they deleted it. It was a little bit like the pacing would have been a little weird, but I did like it though. It was pretty funny. But that's the kind of cameo I like. That's what I want to say. I don't want to see any kind of, here's Ryan Reynolds in Star Wars kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want Ryan Reynolds to play a main character.
Right? No, God, no. I wouldn't want to see his face at all. I would want to see him even as an officer or whatever. Is it an alien? Sure. Is it a stormtrooper voice? Sure. Otherwise, not so much. But all right, well, we are done with that news bit. Let's go right into the final. Well, it's kind of a piece of news. The Visions trailer dropped. We already knew that a little while ago, but we decided we want to watch it together since we haven't done that. So let's try to do that. I'm going to share this, and we'll watch it all together. Damned the copyright strikes if we get it. Star Wars Disney, if you're listening, I'm only doing this out of love. We're not trying to copyright anything. We're not getting any money out of this.
I mean,
watching it. Fair use.
Bateman didn't get it taken down when he did the reaction, so
that's true. That's true. All right. Hopefully you can hear this and I didn't screw it up. But let's go.
何百年も前のことよ。ジェダイいう偉大な戦士がこの星にやってきて、うちの祖先がこの宝刀を託される。その刀は常に全力で支え合う。そいつはお前のもんじゃ。
The lightsaber in the box, fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, sweet.
I love that logo.
お前は生まれた時からフォースに導かれていたのだ。
この時を待っていた。
Sick.
このような闇と初めて対峙した。闇を感じた。
Oh my god.
いつかちゃんと家族になれるから。
最高のライブにしよう。フォースと共にあらんこと。
I love how Boba Fett looks like he looks like Astro Boy.
It did. I wasn't sure if it was Boba or if it was
Looks like
Mandalorian, but I do think it's Boba. I'm gonna go back and find it just to see.
That right there is so cool. Just like holding the blaster beams with the saber.
Oh yeah.
Rewind. Let's see if we can. Because I'm pretty sure that was Boba.
I think it was too. I just wasn't entirely sure. I think it was.
It might just be a Mandalorian.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Or it could be Django.
It could be. Before this or after this, I don't know if it was. Yeah, there's a guy right there, I think. Oh, right there, yeah.
Oh, yeah. A little bit.
Did they go too far? No. Damn it, I think I went too far. There we go. Looks like Boba.
Yeah, that looks like Boba to me. That's because you've got the yellow shoulder plate. Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, that's where we are.
Oh my god.
Man, that's exactly what I was trying to say. You give creators, like legendary anime creators like this, you give them free reign to do whatever you want to do. And you're going to get some looking good stuff. And I'm not a huge anime guy. I haven't watched a lot of anime. My son has been watching Attack on Titan with him. That's really the only anime I've really ever tried. But some of that stuff looks really fucking dope. I think there's some I'm going to be liking a lot more than others. I could already tell. Just some of the animation, some of the anime I won't like, I think. It's kind of like too cutesy, too droidsy, too Milwaukee or whatever. But I'm glad to see them try, and I guarantee I'm going to like a lot of this. I'm already in love with a lot of this, so... I gotta be honest, like any guy talks to the grunting Japanese with a samurai sword and some kind of long hair, I'm like, I'm already interested.
Yeah, that's me. Like you've got me. Have you seen the English voice cast for it?
I have not actually. Look at that. I always kind of watch the dubs when I do anime. Do anime? I like the dubs better. Are the subtitles
crazy?
Is it really?
Like Tamora Morrison, Neil Patrick Harris.
Really?
Yeah. I'll see if I can pull it up real quick.
Oh, look at that. I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's dude. Star Wars Visions English cast. I know Tamora Morrison is getting paid from Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Okay, So we got Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Neil Patrick Harris, Alison Brie, David Harbour, Simu Liu, who's, Shang-Chi and now Visions within the space of 2 months. That dude's working. Wow. Kyle Chandler from Friday Night Lights.
Right.
Lucy Liu.
Damn, okay.
Henry Golding. And George Takei.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. That's cool.
I might have to actually watch the English dub version at this point, just to get some of that loving. Huh.
I was gonna completely ignore the English version, but now I'm like, no, I have to watch English.
Yeah, I have to watch them both. I'll watch them both. So that's okay. Twist my arm. I'll watch Star Wars twice. So sweet. All right, that's where we are on that. I can't wait for that to come out. That comes out shortly, soon, in the next month, less than a month away, I think, now at this point. Or close
23rd of September, I think, and all the episodes drop at the same time.
Yeah, which is going to take us a while to go through. We're going to have to go through those, but I don't know if we're going to do 1 per episode or 2 or 3 per episode. I don't know. We'll have to see. But interesting to see. So, all right, you know what? Let's move on to the bulk of the broadcast here. Hopefully, get a half an hour talk about the finale. Well, there's only 2 of us, so it might be a shorter show than usual. But that's okay. Camino Lost, the final episode of The Bad Batch Season 1. We were confirmed to get a Season 2, like we said before, which makes me very happy because I do like The Bad Batch. I like where we're going. I want to see more from them. I want to see more from this time frame. And as always, Dave Filoni shows tend to get better as they go along. I've never liked Season 1's never been my favorite of any show of his that I've watched. So
I think this might be the strongest one.
The strongest Season 1?
Yeah, the strongest first season.
Maybe. Rebels is right up there, though. I think Rebels in this one might be close. Because Rebels had a very strong finale. But this one does have a very strong finale, too. It's a less cheap pop kind of finale. Like this, Star Wars Rebels relied a little bit on having Vader come in and Emperor come in and stuff like that. The stuff's going to get you excited anyway because you're seeing Vader. You're seeing the Emperor. This one just didn't try any of that. Just went with Bad Batch, and yet it still felt like a big, powerful finale.
Yeah.
But anyway, we left off. Obviously, it's a part 2. We left off with that cool sequence of watching the Empire blast the hell out of Tipoca City. The cool in the shadow of ramparts, like calling for it, and them just being scared out of their minds. They see the blasters coming down. You see the Camino starting to sink and everything else. You wonder how this is going to go. Where are we going to do? And it's funny, we don't get an epic finale. It's more of a low-key kind of finale. I mean, there's action. There's definitely action pieces, but it's more the characterizations that we go through than anything else. It does a great job of being claustrophobic. It does a great job of being, like, making you wonder, wow, how are they going to get out of this, right? How's this going to work? But that's only half the battle. It's a testament to the show that you care at least equally amount about what's going on between them as you do about them getting out alive, so to speak. And right away we get into that, what we want to see with Crosshair, because that's obviously the big question that needed to be answered by this episode: is what's Crosshair going to do? What are we going to see from him? And we get right away, Omega. I say Omega now almost. Omega. Teak. Omega has to save him. He's caught under debris. They're caught on the other side of the door. The Wrecker and crew are on the other side of the door. They can't help her yet. And she's got to come up with a way and save the bad guy. Which, is right up her alley. She's always going to save people. That's just her thing. Yeah. But I liked how that kind of began the whole process quite a bit. What are your thoughts on that?
I thought this was going to be the moment where her kindness was exposed as weakness. Because I saw that the door closed and she was in there with Crosshair. And I was like, okay, who's going to save her? AZ? No. If she gets Crosshair out and Crosshair decides to go, got ya. I'm going to take you and I'm going to get off here. Screw the rest of them. I've got you now. We're going. How would they have helped her? And I thought that was what was going to happen. I thought her kindness was going to be exposed for weakness and Crosshair was going to pounce. Right. What happens when you have a predator hurt and backed into a corner? He's going to lash out. Right. And I thought that's what was going to happen. I was fairly surprised to see the two of them kind of working together.
Yeah, it worked out well. But luckily, we didn't get it was quickly that they are reunited, which is a good thing, I think. Honestly, it was kind of more of a tease of what was going to go on. It was just a sequence to make Crosshair start to think a little more about what was going on. He's got a lot to process in a short amount of time. I mean, he's with the Empire. He's trying to save his crew. He wants to turn them back over to the Empire with him. And then they have to fight the droids together on the same side again. And then also the Empire starts destroying Kamino. Like, that's a lot for him to process. I mean, a lot of times, and Hunter uses it against him quite a bit. Man, the Empire left you for dead. We didn't. We left you, but we didn't leave you for dead. The Empire's leaving you for dead. They don't care about you at all. We are forced to leave you, kind of thing. And I love that. Like, the animation was perfect. Crosshair, I could believe it. He was struggling the whole time. Like, he still has this very deep-seated belief in what he's doing, but he knows that there's more to think on, so to speak, in a way.
Yeah, he is very much, and it's not even of the impression he's fighting for something bigger than himself. He is fighting for something bigger than himself.
Right.
It's just not necessarily the right cause. It is in his mind,
right.
But to us watching from the outside, we know the Empire are the bad guys. But Crosshair, he still has his purpose, whereas he believes that the Bad Batch, like, he believes they're waylaid, that they've lost their way, but they also have their purpose now. It's just two completely different things.
Yeah, I agree. I liked watching the crew work together again, like they always do, but it always seemed to be about. I didn't know how they're going to get out of this, and I liked that. I kind of it felt like it was danger. Like, it's a point, they're getting out of it somehow, but I did wonder if we were going to get them all out. Like, because it was such dangerous crew at that point. It almost felt like one of them was going to go, and I didn't know who was going to be.
I thought it was going to be Echo.
I thought it might be Echo, too, because Echo's always the one who has the least to do with this current storyline in a way. Echo's job right now, or place, is basically being a connection to Rex. That seems like his main... Because he has connection with Rex much more than anybody else does. I mean, because he joined the Bad Batch during Clone Wars, and but that almost felt like that was the ending of Echo's story, and that was the ending of that story. Now that we're moving on, it's like, well, great, now what does Echo do? Because the storyline seems to be about where did the Bad Batch come from, how we created, that kind of thing, and Echo's not a part of that, really. So I agree. I thought Echo was going to might take one down at one point too, but he didn't. He didn't, surprisingly.
Yeah, and I feel like that. Yeah, beside that, that's a very good comparison.
Not wrong.
And especially when you think of, not only were they dealing with getting off of Kamino, trying not to drown,
right?
You've also got Crosshair right behind you. Like, he could just be biding his time, just waiting for them to take a rest, 100%. And then striking. One of my absolute favorite moments, though, came from Wrecker.
Okay.
I should say from Wrecker and Tech, because it was when they were in the tunnel, trying to escape, and Wrecker just turned to Crosshair and said, "If you'd have, we would have taken you back. Like, you keep saying how we abandoned you. You didn't try to come find us. We would have taken you back. Like, we still love you, but you chose to come after us to kill us."
Right.
And then, Crosshair gives his spiel, and then Tech says one of my favorite lines, to the point where when he said it, I was like, wow, that's brilliant, because it speaks so much to the times we live in, when he said, just because I understand you doesn't mean I agree with you. Because he's kind of sticking up for Crosshair. He says, look, he can't change the way he is. We can't change the way he is. And then Crosshair's like, why are you defending me? He's like, I'm not. just because I understand you doesn't mean I agree with you. Right. And then he just turns and walks away. And I was like, damn, Tech.
No, well, that was Tech to a T, though. That's what I love about Tech. It's like completely emotionless. He doesn't understand like why people don't get it. He's kind of like, I don't know why you're talking to him at this point. Wrecker, he made his choice. That's his choice. He can't change who you are. This is who he is. This is who I am. This is who we are. It's different. Almost like, who cares? And like he's like, well, why are you defending me? I'm not. I don't care. I don't. This is just an emotionless thing. I'm just telling you facts. I'm spitting out facts. And this is the way it is, and we can't change it. So might as well not be upset by it. And that's the way it seemed like it went. And but I did love that exchange as well. It made Crosshair think even more because he got hit with the emotional side from Wrecker. He gets hit by the emotional side from Tech about him not being able to change, and like he wonders like, can he change? I kind of feel that, and it's like, can he change? Does he want to change? We don't know. But that all leads to, I mean, they go through, they get their part with in the barracks. They have the barracks and stuff like that. They get to see that, and that's kind of a change. And I think that helps Crosshair be a little like, wow, this is what I'm missing. I'm missing the guys back here in the barracks. I get that, and that's cool. But more importantly, when you get to the lab and you get the other moment again where Omega and Crosshair sit down and have a brief conversation, and it's like, Omega, you keep trying to a degree, but you finally kind of start to realize some hard truths, and Crosshair helped her with that, basically being like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you, kind of thing. It was a good character moment, good character building. Nothing was easy in the episode, which is what I liked about it. It would have been so easy to do, like, just make Crosshair good again, or to make Crosshair bad and not go into it any further. But they didn't. They did some work. They did some real work on the characters in this one, and that's what makes it a successful finale.
Yeah, you speak of the moment where they're in the barracks. There's the bit where Crosshair, he does look at the wall, and he just says, he's like, all those missions together, and you threw it away. So he's still standing on his morals, and there's the old saying, stand on conviction and you will walk alone. That's exactly what he's going through right now, because he says to Hunter, he's like, all those missions thrown away because of your poor leadership.
Right.
And he's still blaming Hunter for everything. He's like, you did this, not them, not me. You did this. You messed up. You broke the team up. And Hunter's just like, well, sometimes good leadership means thinking about the squad as opposed to yourself.
Right. Exactly.
And then I think Crosshair took that. He was a bit like, okay. Yeah, because obviously he's the leader of his unit.
Right. Yeah.
And all he's concerned of is the mission.
And let's be honest, he didn't do exactly what did he do with his crew? He shot him.
Yeah. he left one to die. He shot one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not exactly a good leader himself.
So down deep, I think he needs to be a part of the Bad Batch. I think that's what we're trying to say. Down deep, he needs to be a part of it, but he just can't get there yet. And that's fine. I do think we're eventually going to see him go. Now, after watching this episode, I think we're eventually going to see him turn over a new leaf. Not right away. And I'm glad it wasn't the end of this episode. At the end of this episode, it would have been so easy to have him go off with them and, like, be a part of the crew, etc. Like, I kind of predicted that last week. I kind of thought they were going to keep him. They were going to go off, and next season he was going to be with them, potentially, and at odds with them, but still learning things. And it's going to be one of those kind of slow burn things. I think that would have been the easy way to go. This is a harder way, but it's more of a long burn this way. But I think it might be more effective. This way.
Where do you stand on the theory that Crosshair still has the chip in? Because when he sat down, he held his head. To me, that was just him. He fell. He was buried under a rock. He smashed his head.
Yeah.
To me, that was just him being like, oh, like I've been through a lot today. Yeah,
I think that's it too. Although, and this is a far out there theory, and maybe this is not even worthy of discussing, but I'll throw it out there anyway. What if he got his chip taken out, but they put a new one in place?
I didn't think of that.
So he thinks it's out. As far as he knows, it's out.
They just swapped them.
But they swapped them with a higher one or something, a better one or something. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just something out there.
I didn't think of that. That's a possibility. We can't rule that out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's the case. I do think it's out. I think that because I do think having any kind of chip in at this point will cheapen it a little bit. So I kind of feel like having him make the decision to to still be with the Empire even after everything, after No Chip, even after this discussion, and after this whole time together, and still have him go off on his own. That makes it a more powerful way to do it. So I think it cheapens it if he can't do it because of the chip. You know what I'm saying?
I kind of like it in that it can also be a way to separate him further from the Empire, because he could find out and they'd be like, "Look, you thought that you had free will,
right?
Nah, we're keeping you under control." And then he's just like, "You told me you took it out,
right?
Like, I've done all this thinking that this was my choice, and you're still taking it away from me."
Could be. It could be. We'll have to see how this goes. I think both are potentially possible. But yeah. I want to talk real briefly. The last thing I want to talk about was Crosshair saving AZI at the end.
Oh my god. Putting Hunter and Crosshair in the tube together, I was like, something's going to happen. There's no way that that nothing's... I thought like maybe they were going to like start ascending up and then Crosshair would shoot the glass and push Hunter out.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
it made that moment even more powerful on the boat.
Right.
In the tub.
And he shoots it and you're like, oh, guys, he's going to save AZI.
My heart like stopped for a second because we've been talking for so long. Like literally every Star Wars show has been talking about Hunter might die in the finale. And I was just like, one, where the hell did Crosshair get his rifle back from? Who the hell thought it was a good idea to give Crosshair his rifle back? And then he just points it directly at Hunter's head, and I was like, oh shit, they're gonna do it now.
Right.
Like Omega's falling to her death.
Right.
And now Crosshair's gonna blow Hunter's brains out.
Right.
But then
it would have been interesting to see if Hunter had died, if Crosshair tried to take control of the squad after that and see what would have happened.
Yeah.
Like Crosshair, because almost like Tech would have been like, all right, I got to know they're home, might as well go with you. Wrecker, same thing. Echo,
I think Wrecker probably would have lost it. I think Wrecker probably would have tried to kill Crosshair.
Possibly. I'm saying after the whole thing. I don't know. It would have been interesting to see. Last thing, another thing I want to bring up real quick is the one nitpick I had is who gave Omega the controls to blow up the place? Like of all the people in the crew, they had that explosion. She's got the clicker. Like you're gonna give that to the kid?
Maybe it's like when
Tech,
the kid
Echo,
asks you
Hunter,
for
anybody?
When the kid asks you for a sparkler, like on bonfire night, to like wave around, you're like, just give it to the kid. Or like when you're sitting on the bus with a kid, and the kid's just like, let me push the button.
Big mission with your lives in the line, and you're gonna let the kid take care of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, look when they were trying to get out of the Venator, when they were like, okay, here, Omega, take a charge.
Yeah,
put a charge on the wall. It's like, this is a child,
right? Yeah, I mean, it was something I noticed and laughed at or whatever else, but it's all right.
It's a good point you bring up.
Either that or is it Liam? Is Liam going to be there? That's what to bring up. Fuck Liam. Liam should have been the kid.
Didn't Liam come up in a Schmodown question recently?
I think he did. I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure Liam came up in a Schmodown question recently, and I immediately started gritting my teeth.
I have to hear that name. Can't hear that name.
Welcome.
Neeson's going to have to change his name if he goes back.
Yeah, he's just going to be the artist formerly known as Liam.
There you go. Just call himself Qui-Gon Neeson. All right, guys. What do you think about? Real quick, we'll just talk about season 2, where we think it's going to go, and then we'll go from there, and then we'll say our goodbyes and wrap up.
Season 2. I think, and I can't really take full credit for this.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of have to give Alex Damon a little bit of credit for this.
Good person.
He mentioned that we've seen Rex.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen Gregor.
Mm-hmm.
The only one we haven't seen is Wolf.
Yeah, you got to get Wolf in there at some point.
So maybe the first mission of season 2 is they go to get Wolf.
We do need a big slam bang opening. The Filoni shows like to do. They have the big open, the big closing. So I do think getting Wolf would be a good sign. If we're going to get Rex there, if we get Wolf there, I think we're going to see Crosshair. I don't think we're going to see Crosshair right away. I think we're going to see Crosshair come back mid-season, something like that. I'm going to see him go off, it'll be behind the scenes, and he'll come back, and we'll find out where he went and what he's been doing.
How's he going to get off the planet?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. The Imperials aren't coming back.
The city's gone, and I don't think the Empire's coming back.
Right.
How the hell is he going to get off?
100%. Good question. But well, that's what I think too. That's where I'm going to go with. We're going to go season 2. We'll find out about that soon. I can't wait. Can hopefully come sooner than later. And we're going to see Ezra parents in season 2. Maybe.
Possibly.
Could
I
see
mean, we saw Harris.
Me Cassian Andor, like I talked about. I wanted that one person to be. I wanted Rex to be Cassian Andor in the hologram, so to speak. When the sisters were talking to him, I wanted it to be Andor there, but it didn't end up being Rex, which is fine. But let's see Cassian Andor as well. That'd be kind of cool. So
there's also Cody.
Yeah,
where's Cody?
That's true. We don't know. That's what I want to see too. Is Cody versus Rex? I've always wanted to see that finale. Cody and Rex going at each other. That's
yeah.
Please show me that shit. But
Boba's out there somewhere. Yeah. We still got to see where Cad Bane is.
Yep. And do we get Hondo?
Hondo watch continues.
Hondo
watch continues.
Hashtag Hondo watch.
But we almost forgot about the little tasty bit at the end.
Oh, we didn't talk about that. That's right. How did we not talk about that? Oh my God, thank you. Totally forgot about that. We got to see, what should be Wayland, basically.
Mount Tantus.
Mount Tantus, the planet of Wayland. From Legends, I mean, it's going to be obviously canonified and might be changed a little bit, but that's basically what it was. It is the storehouse of the Emperor. And look who's there in the chat. Oh, love to see you in the chat.
She's back.
She's back. Love Bador. So miss you on the show, girl. But yeah, Wayland is legendized. It's canonized in a way. Well, we think officially, but that was great because we got to see the Kaminoans brought there, the scientists brought there, and I'll say, and we get to see the people who come out are dressed exactly as the Doctor from the Mandalorian.
Yeah, Dr. Percy.
Same uniform and everything else. This is all connecting, and I love it.
A lot of people thought that was Afra.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, that looks nothing like Afra.
That is nothing like Afra. We are waiting, and we will welcome you back with open arms anytime. You know that. Yeah, but it's definitely not Afra. But I think the connection is we're getting more and more connected. I've been watching Mandalorian again with my son a little bit, and I'm watching the clones being brought up. And I just watched the season 2 episode with the base, the siege base. And they find out the lab. They find all the clones that are there before they destroy it, and this is all leading up to trying to make the Palpatine's return in Episode 9 seem better planned. I think that's what it is, and I'm here for it. Let's make it better. If Clone Wars can make the prequels better, then I think this can make Episode 9 better. That's what I think. So Let's do it. Let's just do it up. So
this is my big monster theory. That not only is that place looking at Palpatine, but we also know Thrawn has a deep connection to that place.
100%.
That's filled with loads of Sith artifacts, loads of things that Palpatine collects. Thrawn's a big collector. We've talked about this, off camera. What if this also ties to the big event that they're planning at the end? What if Thrawn has his own clone army?
Could happen. Could happen. Could absolutely happen.
I want it. Let Thrawn once because did Thrawn even know Palpatine was still alive?
I want to say he probably did, but we don't know for sure because he left with Ezra to wherever he went in the Outer Rim or whatever. We don't know. I don't know.
I think this is going to be heavily tied into. We might even see Thrawn in season 2. Maybe it's not like a big Thrawn, maybe he's not like a big presence, but maybe it's like a mole at the end of Solo.
Yeah, to drop in nuggets for getting ready for the Ahsoka series when he comes back. I could totally see that happening. Absolutely. One thing, started during the chat. Do we see Bad Batch crew join the Rebel movement? I don't think so. I don't think they ever join the Rebels. I do think they might work with the Rebels, might help the Rebels at some point, but they'll never join up officially. I could see them helping out Cassian Andor do something, Rex do something, but they'll never join up. That's my prediction on that. I know. God, we need you back to the show, girl. With that being said, it's time to wrap it up. Maddie, where can the folks find you?
You guys can find me on, as Paul likes me to say, Twitter at Matty Gunner, Instagram Matty_Gunner, Clubhouse Matty Gunner, Twitch Matty Gunner TV, and every Wednesday and Sunday on the Wild Jones Podcast Network for the ONU, the Outcasts and Underdogs MMA show.
Excellent. You can find me at Paul_Newsy on Twitter. You can find me on Action Industries Monday. On the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday shows, usually either behind the scenes or in front of the camera. You can also find me in the FCL every Tuesday on the Schmodown Twitch channel as well, and other things here and there. I mentioned I'm going to be on Picture Perfect tomorrow, which is great. I can't wait to do that. Dude. And yeah, I'm going to be on Settle the Score next week potentially with Matt
hell
Most.
Yeah!
That he reached out to me, so I'll be doing something like that. Hopefully on the 30th. I don't know when.
I love that show, dude.
Me too. It's a great show. It's a lot of fun. So all that going around, and yeah, you can find me. You know where to find me. You can just find me. So, all right, guys.
Action Industries, FCL.
As we all say, may the force be with you always.